This is Hofstra's Campus Conversations, the official podcast of Hofstra University's leadership team, focusing on issues of importance to Hofstra and higher education. Now welcome today's host, Hofstra President Susan Poser.
Welcome to this episode of Campus Conversations. We're going to be talking today about community engagement, one of the four goals of Hofstra 100, Hofstra's new strategic plan, and our roadmap to lead us to the centennial of Hofstra University in 2035. Joining me to talk about the future of community engagement at Hofstra is Chanda Washington, Associate to the President for Government and Community Affairs. Welcome, Chanda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about our plans for Hofstra in 100 years.
Now, before we dive in, please tell our listeners a little bit about your background and how long you've been at Hofstra.
So I have extensive background in communications and government relations, having spent many years in the D.C. area. My career actually began in journalism, having worked at the Washington Post for about 16 years, doing mostly hyperlocal news coverage. I then spent 7 years as the Director of Communications for Planning and Economic Development in the Mayor's Office, 2 years in Parks and Recreation in Maryland, and another year with the City Administrator in D.C. I've been at Hofstra for about 2 years, heading up Government Affairs and Community Relations.
And we're so lucky to have you here, Chanda.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here.
Why don't you say just a little bit about your educational background?
My purpose in getting a degree was in journalism. So I have a journalism degree from Arkansas State University. Go Red Wolves. My executive MBA from Howard University.
Which you just got a year or two ago, right?
That's right, 2023.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's dive into this strategic plan. The plan's second goal is to expand community-engaged academic programs and elevate this engagement to a signature program at Hofstra. So what are your plans for leading this goal, and what exactly do I mean by all of that?
Let's first take a step back and acknowledge the extensive work that has been done in community engagement at Hofstra. Community engagement is and always has been a part of Hofstra's mission, and faculty and students have consistently asked for it and want to be a part of it. What we hope to do with the strategic plan, through some of your vision, President Poser, I want to acknowledge that the moment I came on board, this was something that you found to be very important to the growth and the strength of the university, because you saw it kind of in its current state here, and you thought it was an opportunity for us to build on that. The hope is to build on the academic experience and to align it with the workforce. We believe the relationship that the school has with the community should be symbiotic. We want an exchange of knowledge, experience, opportunities, and resources for mutual benefit. And as a university, we aspire to weave this experience into the curriculum, not just extracurricular activities or volunteer events.
So when you say weave it into the curriculum, are you talking about courses in community engagement, or are we talking about community engagement in any discipline?
So, the idea is to include community activities within the discipline of a major so it connects to the areas of study. An example is if you're a business major, you're helping veteran small business owners with marketing or management, and you could use it as a way to earn credits, not just service hours. This would build on what students will do in the workforce. We want students to be civically engaged, as this could be part of their future careers. We also believe that more organizations are looking for this. More companies, more businesses are wanting students to be connected to the community as a way to better understand what the needs are. There could be whole classes dedicated to it. It could be capstone projects as well. But the key is to really enhance the study. I think this is an opportunity for faculty who have always been connected to the community to build on things they have always wanted to do.
So you say to build on things they already want to do. It sounds like you think Hofstra is particularly well suited for this.
Absolutely.
Is it for more than just that we do a lot of community engagement already? Like, what else are the students going to get out of this?
The building blocks are there, right? This is something that the faculty has, many faculty members have been involved in. And we learned about this when we were going through the planning process for the strategic plan, in which we had our committee did a survey to try and gauge what was already being done and what level of interest was there. And there was a lot of interest. What we learned, there are signature programs, of course, like Hofstra for Hempstead, Hempstead for Hofstra. There are a lot of pipeline programs with many high schools in the area. There's student involvement. They spend their spring break doing service to the community. There's Gifts of Joy, which they're helping community members who want to celebrate the holidays. There's Shake a Rake, where they're literally in the neighborhood raking up the leaves. Our neighbors who border Hofstra, actually. And we have centers that are focused on community work, like the Center for Civic Engagement, the Cultural Center, the Center for Suburban Studies, Joan and Saltzman Community Services Center, which does thousands of hours of mental health counseling in the community every year. It's baked into Hofstra, so now we need to tell more people about it so those who are interested will see Hofstra as a first choice for investment, a first choice to go to school here, and even a first choice to come and work here.
I mean, it's really interesting because I agree with you that I think there are applicants, future college students, who might find the opportunity to do community engagement and get academic credit for it really interesting. It's kind of an addition to this whole idea of internships, right? That a lot of students know they want to go out and work, get practice working in the real world. But this kind of gives them practice to be sort of good citizens and good community members, no matter what their career is going to be.
Right. And the thing about community engagement is really about building relationships, right? And it's building relationships for the purpose of understanding where people are and what their needs are and how you can support that, but also recognizing that they have something that they could give to you, that they could support you on. And so the thing about an internship is, yes, you go, you do a job, and then you do the internship for 6 weeks to 3 months or whatever, and then you go back to school. This is more about really getting connected to the things that matter in this world. What we've heard from students are concerns about climate change. What we've heard from students is the desire to increase voter registration. What we've heard from students is, helping businesses, social justice, things like that. And so the hope is we connect with community organizations, community groups that are doing this type of work to be able to create that type of experience. And then guess what? You also get college credit for it. I think that's the vision. And I think there are faculty members out there who want to be a part of that.
We send a pretty big message that way, right? This counts.
Yes.
This counts as part of your education.
Exactly.
And maybe it's your education to become a good citizen and a good person of the world.
Yes.
That's terrific. So, the other thing, of course, we do a lot of here, the faculty certainly does a lot of, is research.
Yes.
So is there any role for research, you think, in this
Absolutely.
kind of community engagement? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are a university and research is a part of that. And I think community organizations don't want us coming into the community to research them. They want to partner with us to research issues that matter to them. And so an example of that is like the Hempstead Bay water quality monitoring program. So there was a faculty member chosen as the lead investigator. There was grant funding received, and Hofstra worked in close partnership to understand what the water quality is in this community, an issue that impacts everybody, right? So there's that level of research that's necessary. Faculty and students working together with community partners can collaborate in research design and analysis of locally generated data. So yes, research would be a core part of this as well.
It's a way to give back to Long Island, too, right?
Yes.
Not just to those particular civic groups or community groups that we're actually working with.
Yes. Once you graduate and you go off into your careers, research is important. Research is important. Regardless of the type of career you go into, you have to have an understanding of what the need is of the service that you're providing. And so this gives you the experience. Go out there, meet people you haven't met, build these relationships, understand what the challenges are, and work collaboratively to solve them.
Yep.
And so I think that that's some of the things we're trying to do.
At some level, we all do research all the time, right? Because it's all about data. It's all about crunching the data, no matter what it's about.
It's all about data. That's
Absolutely.
right.
So this is really nicely developed, and I know that you co-chaired a committee to build this part of the plan. You want to tell us a little bit about that? How all these great ideas kind of came to be?
It was a committee of faculty, staff, and students. My co-chair was Christopher Nee, who is the professor of applied social research and the chair of the sociology department. It evolved through several meetings and iterations. I mean, literally, we'd pop a meeting on someone's calendar at the last minute, and people showed up and engaged and asked questions and wanted to figure out how we could best incorporate community engagement to the curriculum. But it started with the conversations about what is Hofstra already doing. So there were a lot of surveys, and I have to, give acknowledgement to all the people who responded to the survey, because it helped us figure out where our starting point was.
Yes, very important.
Very important, right? You can't just like roll into it and say, oh, we're going to do this, save the world. No, they made it very clear that this is what we've already been doing, and how can we build on the things that are already great about Hofstra. So there was that, a lot of conversations, a lot of writing, a lot of quasi-research, not deep research, but some, to better understand what we wanted to do. And then the vision became what it became.
Yeah, and that was one of the 4 committees of the strategic planning process. And we're going to be talking about all of them at one point or another. So this is really exciting. I know you are the associate to the president, so I know what you're up to. And I also know you're doing a great job leading this initiative, this part of the plan about, community engaged academic programs. But I also know that you do some other things at Hofstra. This is really half or even less than half of your job description, this particular project, certainly. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you do when you are not implementing our brand new strategic plan or out in the community?
Well, Susan, I do duties as assigned. No, seriously, though.
No, but you've got government relations in your title, if I recall correctly.
I do grant writing. We have to apply for the grants that are going to provide us with funding to address some of the things that we're trying to accomplish here. So there's a lot of that, working with the provost office on that. A lot of government relations. As you know, you and I go to D.C. once a year. We go to Albany several times a year, actually, advocating for student aid, finding internship opportunities, really selling Hofstra, showcasing the great work that's happening here. One of the things that I did most recently that I absolutely had a ton of fun with was Hofstra Votes. We were working with students. Dr. Rosanna Parati and I were working with students to help students get registered to vote. We were also, as you know, an early voting site, and more than 5,000 people came out to Hofstra to vote.
That's fantastic.
I know, right? I mean, it created another opportunity, easy access. They live right across the campus.
Well, when I came to vote, there was a steady stream of community members coming in through the door on a Saturday afternoon to vote. Yep, it was great, fantastic. Very gratifying.
Yes. And moving forward, what I hope to is encourage students to be part of this process, to let us know what they want to do, and we will fold it into the curriculum.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's amazing everything that you're doing. I'm just so thrilled that you joined us at Hofstra almost 2 years ago. And I know that you've made incredible connections both in the community and in the government and on our campus among so many students and faculty and staff and even alumni.
Thank you.
And I always joke that whenever I'm going around with you, everybody comes up to you and gives you a big hug. I never get a hug from anybody. So that's pretty good evidence of success right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chanda Washington, Associate to the President for Government and Community Affairs, for joining us today and having this really interesting conversation, telling us what you're up to with the second goal of the strategic plan. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. On the next campus conversation, I'm going to be joined by Hofstra Senior Vice President for Student Enrollment, Engagement, and Success and Dean of Admissions, Jessica Eads. And we're going to talk about the third goal of the strategic plan, which is about student success. Please join us and find out how we as a university plan to apply a holistic approach to student service, addressing needs from academic through mental health. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you then.
If you have questions, comments, or topic ideas for Hofstra's campus conversations, please email podcast@hofstra.edu. Hofstra University has produced and provides this podcast for general information only. It is created in collaboration with WRHU Studios.